Used to love me, now you won't.
All right, folks, so here we go. It is Monday, and I am going to share with you what sold for me last week. That would be the week of July 26th to August 1st on eBay and Poshmark. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. This is the first item here that sold for me. It is a little flamingo souvenir from Clearwater, Florida that my friend Heather gave me for free from her house. So this sold for $10.60. The buyer got free shipping. Here's another item. This is a bolo item. I keep telling you guys to look out for light switch covers. Here's one that I paid, I think, $1/4 for from a thrift store, and I sold it for $13.11, free shipping for the buyer. Last week, I ran a sale in my store, and I put a lot of the older items at 30% off, or even just smaller items, whatever I decided to throw on sale. So those went on sale for 30%. For the month, it's going to be on sale, and so the past 2 weeks, I've made considerably more sales, but less profit overall. So this is one of the items that sold. And then this Thermos Lunch Box, it did not have the actual thermos like drink container inside. This sold for $22.58, free shipping. This item sold at $19.94 full ask price, and it sold in about a day. So I would say be on the lookout for these old vanity items that are unique. So this was just like a marbled brown, double-sided, magnifying on one side, regular on the other, kind of a vintage compact mirror. So that sold full price, $19.94. This item I picked up for $2 for the entire set at a yard sale recently, and it is a melamine material, not a plastic. That is a bolo, you guys. Be on the lookout for camping plates or melamine or Melmac plates. Texas wear, these are called Heller, and it turned out that they were like some designer plates, some mid-century minimalist from Italy. So anyway, these sold for $60 for the entire set, and that was an offer. I could have probably made more if I held out longer, but $60 free shipping to the buyer for those. That was a pretty good return. This item sold for $18.50, free shipping to the buyer. It's this little Czechoslovakian, it's a little Czech dish. The lady looks like she's sort of swimming in her dress, and you can see her legs through it. It's very pretty. $18.50. These pair of pink depression glass candlesticks with a fish or dragon, whatever, on them sold for $44.77, free shipping to the buyer. Unfortunately, the post office broke one of these items en route. They broke 3 of my items this week, so that's pretty upsetting. I did file a claim. I refunded the buyer 100% of their money, and then hopefully the post office will just return my money for me, and the buyer can maybe glue them together and hopefully still salvage what's left of them. So yeah, $44.77, free shipping for those. This item sold for $16.77, free shipping for the buyer. I paid, I want to say $2, maybe $1 for this item at the American Rescue Worker, and it's just a beveled or tempered glass cutting board. The donkey decanter sold for $18.45, free shipping, and it was this bottle. You guys actually saw that in one of my videos. $13.96. This item sold for, it's like a tiki mug. It's a luau hut on the back from Japan, I want to say. Yeah. This item sold for $15.26, free shipping to the buyer. Probably could have gotten a little tiny bit more for this because this had a lot of interest right away, and it sold pretty fast, and it was just like this engraved peacock in a brass little dish. So yeah, that sold really, really fast. $15.26, free shipping. This coaster sold as well, $13.96 for this, free shipping to the buyer. It was just a coaster stone. It was a newer item. This wasn't a vintage item, with the BMW or whatever the event was that they were made for. This is a Little Red Riding Hood lamp that I thought was really cool when I purchased it. It's like a plastic or whatever the material is, like a raised lamp inside of a box. This sold for $35, free shipping to the buyer. This little organizer sold for $20.96. It was just like a plastic organizer, but on the bottom, it said Christian Schmidt Brewing Company and their information on there. Again, I have said before that these are bolos, these desk organizers that are not modern necessarily. I mean, even modern ones, I'm not really sure. I don't sell a lot of modern items, but this was a vintage item. So $20.96 that sold for. This is the other clock. Last week I sold a super muffed up clock, broken General Electric, like silver deco clock. This is the other clock that I got together with that clock. This clock sold this week for $28 free shipping. This one did work. It was a little bit, dirty and whatever, and it had a little crack on the top, but it sold for $28 free shipping, even in that condition. This amber cut glass spoon rest sold for $15, free shipping to the buyer. I had this little black train for a while. I thought it was cool when I bought it. I bought it super cheap, so we picked it up. But it ended up being fairly common or not really worth a lot, and I ended up selling it for $16.06, free shipping to the buyer. This pair of his and hers sort of plaid milk glass vintage mugs sold for $16, free shipping. Here's another bolo, a mid-century lamp. It's like a mint green and brass lamp. This I bought at an estate sale not too long ago. I want to say I either paid $5 or half of $5 for it, and it was working. I sold this one for $55, free shipping to the buyer. So these next couple of items are going to show $1. 2 weeks ago, I started an auction. The first auction only yielded one sale. That'll be the last sale I show you. And then the second one, I got like 3 or 4 sales off of. So what I did was I just took really old inventory that hasn't moved and clothing, which I'm not selling on eBay anymore. And I shot it up on an auction for 7 days for $1 and then $10 shipping. So none of these items would cost me $10 to ship. They would all cost me under $10 to ship. So just in the shipping cost alone for the buyer, I will make a profit off of these items. And then the additional $1 to show that I actually sold it for something tangible. And then this is just a way for me to kind of move out old inventory quickly if I can. So the first item is this Otagiri mug. Really pretty, just a ceramic speckled kind of mug. $1. All these are $1, $10 shipping. This Woody and Buzz Lightyear double-sided pillowcase also sold during that auction process. This old, like kind of crusty, honestly, Big Ben souvenir. It's a bell. This sold for $1 with the $10 shipping. This Danny and Nicole mermaid dress in navy blue, $1 free shipping. And then this was the first item that sold from the last auction. This, you can tell just based on the picture how long I had this dress. This thing, first of all, weighed like 8 pounds. not actually, but it was over a pound for sure. And then it had these like gaudy buttons. It was like a knit dress. Anyway, super specific style for somebody. This sold for $1 with the $10 shipping, and it is already out on its way. So that's everything that sold for me last week on eBay, and now we are going to jump into my Poshmark sales. These are my Poshmark sales from last week, the week of July 26th to August 1st, to remind you guys, 2020. I actually had a fairly good week on Poshmark last week, so let's jump right in. This first item I will share with you is a little silver-plated cat trinket ring jewelry dish. This item sold for $12, free shipping, so I made $1.94 on this item. This is a vintage, it was like a sort of a cowgirl suit with the two fringe skirts. It had a pair of the skirts and the pink kind of button up top. This sold for $15, free shipping, so I made $4.89 on that item. This vintage Fundamental Things skirt sold for $13, free shipping, I made $2.94. This pair of men's vintage Sears brown leather shoes sold for $15, free shipping. I made $4.89 on those. And I think I've made the decision ultimately on Poshmark to discontinue my men's clothing, my children's clothing, and possibly the home goods. I'm only going to sell women's clothing on there from now on, and I'm not going to sell clothing on eBay anymore from now on until further notice. If you want me to talk about why I made that decision, I will, but I'm just trying to move out all of my men's and children's clothes, so I'm selling them for as little as I can. $4.89 for this vintage pair of shoes. These guys, you guys saw me pick up at the yard sale when I did my car clear out video, and they are a super funky Colin Stewart. They're like an alien rave sandal with these big bubbles on the back. These are definitely vintage 90s, and this is one of my best sales on Poshmark for this week, and maybe in general. $70 for this pair of shoes that I paid $1 or $2 for, and I even had to glue the bulbous thing back on, which I did mention in my listing. So I went ahead and made $56 off of that pair of shoes, and the buyer even paid the shipping on that one. So that was a great deal. This little wicker purse with lucite handle sold for $25, free shipping, so I made $12.89 on that. These are a bolo. If you find vintage wicker handbags, almost 100% of the time, if they're cheap, pick them up, they'll sell. I thought this shirt was super cool. It took longer than I thought it would to sell, but it sold for $20, free shipping, so I made $8.89, and it was like a hand-painted vintage 90s shirt. This was a pair of riding boots, like horse riding boots, and I picked these up for $1 at the Rainbow's End, which is still not open. But I went ahead and sold these super cheap for free shipping, $15, $4.89 was my profit. So I still put money in my pocket on those boots. This cute little Pittsburgh Steelers Tasmanian Devil sweater with little quilted shoulders. Sold for $15, free shipping, so I made $4.89. I would have liked to get a little bit more for that, but again, children's clothing, men's clothing, I'm just trying to move it. This pair of men's Cabela's lace up, they're like a weird boot sneaker thing in a camouflage with a shell toe. They sold for $10. The buyer paid the shipping because the buyer sent me this offer, and I made $7.05. These I don't recommend picking up. I had these for, I think, about 4 years before they sold. Somebody had bundled up these boys like baseball pants and then offered me $10. They paid the shipping, so I made $7.05 on them, which is pretty good, but not after 4 years anyway. This is a sweater or jacket, sorry, zippered jacket that I had for myself, and I just was like too boxy and I never wore it. So I ended up selling it for $15. The buyer paid the shipping, so I made $12 off of an old closet relic. This is a men's button-up gingham linen shirt in a vintage style, or it is vintage, I'm not really sure. Either way, I paid less than $1 for it. The buyer paid me $25 and the shipping, so I made $20 off of this shirt. And last but not least, last week on Poshmark, I sold this super awesome blue and white gecko Hawaii snapback trucker hat for $20. The buyer paid the shipping. I made $16, and I know I picked this up for $2, so I actually made $14. Anyway, long story short, this is a pretty cool old hat. Reminds me of my teenager times. So that's everything, you guys. That's everything that sold for me last week on eBay and Poshmark for the week of July 26th to August 1st, 2020. If you guys like the content, hit the like button for me. If you want to see more what solds or you want to see more thrifting videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And in the meantime, you guys, happy hunting!